So the Pan-African Parliament, which is one of the organs of the African Union, it's based in South Africa. So it has convened the third civil society parliament dialogue under the theme of legal reparations, justice for Africa and people of African descent. The event brought together members of parliament, representatives of the African Union, civil society organizations, academics, and youth leaders to strengthen partnership and chart a shared pathway towards justice, equality, and reparative development for Africa and its diaspora. Now, one of the guest speakers on this occasion was the former African Union chairperson, Her Excellency Nkosazana, Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. She was there, and in her speech, she has touched, it was such a revolutionary speech. A lot of things amongst them are like she spoke on Africa's demand, of course, for reparative justice, where she said reparations are not a plea for charity. They are moral, legal, and historic imperative, a demand for justice, healing, and dignity. She talked about decolonization, gender and reparations, historical foundations, peace, governance, and development, on youth agency. But amongst of all this, what stood out for me was that where she talked about her last visit, like in May, to Burkina Faso, and how she described her visit there. It was profound. What a statement. And I will listen to you that excerpt of in video from her speech where she talked about Burkina Faso. It was the body language, everything. Like for me, it was everything. Now we're gonna listen to it. Listen.
So before I end, let me talk about Burkina Faso too, because I've been there recently this year. And I'm going there end of this month.
Oh my God. For me, it's like I've been there. Okay, for those of you who are talking about like who are rumoring, yes, I've been there. And guess what? No, I'm going also this month, end of this. Like listen to this, please. Watch it good, her body language.
So before I end, let me talk about Burkina Faso too, because I've been there recently this year, and I'm going there end of this month again. Some people asked me when I came back, why did you go there? There was a coup. So I said, yes, I wasn't there on the day of the coup. I didn't go to Burkina Faso on the day of the coup. But I was invited for the launch of the Sankara Mausoleum. But also I can see in Burkina there is a revolution, and I support progressive revolutions.
Wow. That was it. Hands up.
And Sankara was a progressive leader of our continent who was assassinated. He supported women, he supported unity of the African continent. He supported countries feeding themselves, producing their own food. And they were launching his mausoleum. But also I can see what they are doing. For me, good governance is about whether you respond to the needs of your population. It's not about anything else. Do you respond to the needs of your population? are you spending the resources of the country for the benefit of your population?
Exactly. And that is the question we need to ask. It's not about democracy or this electoral. People are not going to eat democracy, this invisible democracy, okay? Are you that is it. Are you responding to the need of your people? That's it. And thank you for putting it in a simple language. And I am loving and living for this. I love it. I love it. I love it. Last time when she was in Burkina Faso in May, we here at Connect Africa interviewed her, and I'm going to put that in the chat section for you. It's a video where, I mean, she really, really revealed a lot of things. And now this time she's going for the second time and she's telling about that, you know, what are you going to do to me? Okay, look, I wasn't there when the coup happened, and I'm not an accomplice, but even then I support progressive leader. You know what? This is what I believe. I just live and love for this. I mean, it was profound. Yeah.
Governance. If you are not, for me, that's not good governance. Nobody is going to come and develop our continent for us. If we don't do it, it won't develop. We can't sit and be waiting for some people from across the oceans to come and do it for us. It's not going to happen. And also, we must decolonize our minds and believe in ourselves. Steve Biko, our first president of SASU, said, and I quote, "The most potent weapon is the mind of the oppressed." Because if your mind is decolonized, they don't need to come physically. Mm-hmm. You are already in prison. So let's decolonize our minds. And decolonizing our minds means taking charge of our economies. Why aren't we say Africa is rich in all this? The president was mentioning all the things we are rich in. The 60% of available arable land globally is on this continent, but this continent imports food. We have sunshine more than 300 days a year. We have water. We have a big population, more than 1.4 billion. Why can't we feed ourselves? Who will respect us if we can't feed ourselves? Thomas Sankara said, "Who feeds you controls you." So we must grow our food. We must process our natural resources. Some people boast of importing furniture. They boast, "My furniture is imported from there. Why? We have so much wood. Why do you import furniture? We have people, we have wood. There's no need. We grow cotton. Only 90% of our cotton is exported raw. Why? But we import fabric. And I'm glad Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are starting to make chocolate, because we sell cocoa beans, we get 8 billion around there. Mm-hmm. but the chocolate industry is more than 100 billion. So let's take charge of our economies. Let's beneficiate our minerals. Why are we sending these minerals raw? Sending minerals raw is exploiting jobs, high-paying jobs. We remain with the mining jobs, but the high-paying jobs are exported to where the minerals will be beneficiated. And exporting something raw, we are exporting revenue, because by the time it comes back to you as finished goods, it's probably 10 times or more expensive. So let's wake up. We have everything that everyone who has developed used to develop. The only thing is, must decolonize our minds and not think. You know, I lived in Addis, as you know, and one thing I learned from Addis, maybe it's because they were never colonized.
That's Ethiopia.
Is that they believe in themselves. You know, when they were building the Renaissance Dam that is now giving them the electricity,
Yes.
no investor came to invest. If it was some of us, we would still be waiting for the investors. But they didn't wait. They said, okay, we'll go ahead. The government did not have all the money to build that dam. But what they did, the diaspora contributed. But
toen het wapen boven water kwam, barstte er een grootse klopjacht los.
Leg uw wapen neer!
Maak van je afwas een true crime scene met Fluister. Eindeloos veel luisterboeken, podcasts en e-books in één.
for 4.5 years when I was there, you received an SMS every day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And when you respond to that SMS, you donate $1 to that dam. Right? The citizens built that dam. They donated every day. And the dam is done now. Because they believed in themselves. Their minds were decolonized. But many of us would still be waiting for the investors to come. We wouldn't be having the electricity they are having because we are still waiting for the investors. So let's not wait. Let's do what we can do for ourselves. Also, just to give another example, when there was Ebola in those 3 countries, when we had the UN, President Obama, in a side meeting, said there are 1.4 million Africans are going to die if nothing drastic is done.
Yeah.
The world did nothing drastic.
Nothing.
But as Africans, we decided we're going to do something for ourselves. We called for volunteers from different countries to go and work in those countries. And indeed, we got more than 800 volunteers from different countries who went to work there. And we got business, African business, to give us money so that we can look after those people once they are there. And not even 100,000 people died, let alone the 1.4 that was. Some people, international organizations promised us money, it's still coming. So, and I interviewed two of the young people who volunteered, because they all came via Addis. We trained them, and then they left. One was from Kenya. And I said, what motivated you to volunteer? And he said, no, I just thought, what if this was happening in Kenya? And people were asked to come and help us, and nobody came. So I decided, no, I must go. And another one said, no, we always talk about Pan-Africanism. I thought this was a way of showing it in practice, and that's why I'm here. So I'm saying, if we put our minds to it, we can do everything on our continent. As long as we include everybody. If we exclude women and youth, forget. It's not going to happen. You can't walk on one leg and think you can compete with people who are walking with two legs. So, for now, I think Burkina is doing well. I'm going there I'll be there from the 25th to the end of the month, because they are holding a big women's conference, and many women of the continent are going there. Because they believe that they cannot rise as Burkina without women, just as the continent will not rise without women. I thank you.
That's what Her Excellency Dr. Dlamini Zuma talked about Burkina Faso while addressing the Pan-African Parliament on the theme of what was the theme? Legal reparations, justice for Africa and people of African descent. Well, she can talk about Burkina Faso because she has been in Burkina Faso, because she has seen the work in progress, because she has spoken to the leader of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore. We have invited her here at Connect Africa after she get back her visit from Burkina Faso in May, and she has, dived with us with all what was happening there. And, some of the examples that she brought in her speech are really, really important, because as the chairperson of the African Union, she has seen what the African Union needs, what Pan-Africanism needs. This is Pan-Africanism in action. Otherwise, it will just be rhetoric. These are some of the actions that we need. Otherwise, again, we are going to talk for another 60 years. When Ebola erupted, it erupted under her leadership as the African chairpersonship, under her chairship or chairwomanship in Addis Ababa, where also I was working at the African Union, and she really handled it good. As she said, when the world was ready to laugh at us, to count our dead bodies in millions, guess what? It was us who saved ourselves. Airlines, like the largest airline in Africa, Ethiopian Airlines, has volunteered to gather all, the medicines that is needed, the not vaccination. What was it? What was it for Ebola that was needed? Medicine, anyway. Also bringing that, and then people volunteering from the African countries. I was talking about COVID-19, okay? I must have mixed, but it was just Africans on board for Africa. That's how we saved ourselves. And when she talked about also the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, as an Ethiopian, it makes me really proud because I was there when the Ethiopian government was really knocking all the houses of Ethiopians, meaning the households of Ethiopians, to contribute for this. And then also the Ethiopian Telecom has embarked on that 8201, was it, or 8100. As an Ethiopian, really, it makes me proud. And we were all part of it, contributing money to build this dam. And she was also part of it historically. And she joked one time, she said, Ethiopian Telecom, it might give you a headache sometimes getting the network, but that 8100 for the telecom to donate to the dam, it will never fail. That SMS, it will never fail. So I was present in that room when she makes that joke, but of course it was the launching of it, and she happily contributed for that. Every African should be proud that we have such an exemplar work or project that we have accomplished. It doesn't matter whether it belongs to Ethiopia or any other country, but that a leader can cite to it. Look, as an African, we have done this. We have contributed for this, and we can do this next. So that's really a pride moment, that we are not going to cite anything that's happening in Europe or something, that we can cite what happened, what we achieved in Africa. Well done, for her job, her dedication, her commitment, and promoting Burkina Faso as well, with no apologies when everybody expect her to apologize. She said, I wasn't part of the coup, but guess what? Even if it is, it's a revolutionary one. It's what people wanted. It's a progressive one. So I support it. And Thomas Sankara came through a coup. There is bad coup, there is good coup. We don't need to apologize for that, because our leaders, so-called heads of states and leaders, are the one who pushed us to this point, because they are committing a coup to the constitution, because they are not leaving power when they are not wanted, when their time has expired, when the people say, enough, we don't want you anymore. You haven't delivered. You haven't responded to our demand. They're not leaving. So we have to do a coup. So do not, do not be intimidated or whatever when the West when the West or the mainstream media is using that term against these Sahel states. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is the leaders that what people wanted. That's all it matters. For me, her speaking this, Dr. Dlamini Zuma supporting this, it really means a lot. And I am sure other leaders also will follow. It was Dr. Arikana, now her the former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, has been there. There are many, by the way, who are not going out public, but who pick up their phone and talk to the government and say, well, you know what? Well done. I'm sure there are few. They might be less than a handful of them, but still, I believe there are such leaders in the continent. And they are not appreciating or acknowledging what he's doing, but who are following his footsteps. Hopefully they are using it for a good cause, not really just to gather the population and, drive them crazy with their rhetoric. What a thing, what a thing. We are going to bring you more details about the women conference that's happening in Burkina Faso, which is from 25 till 28, but up until then. If you have any question, please drop it here. We try to get Her Excellency Dlamini Zuma or the event coordinator. So anything that you want to ask, please send us email, and we will we will make sure that your question is answered. That was it for now. Thank you very much. Please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, give it a like if you find it interesting or informative enough, and share the video with others. If you want to help us further, please donate to our PayPal account. You can find it in the description section. Bye-bye.